the Uganda Airlines Chief Executive, Jennifer Bamtorashi. And of course, right now as we speak, if you're there, I think her job is about to be, the top position for the airline is about to be advertised. And
well, he's actually considering the former CEO of Ethiopian Airlines.
Exactly. And I kind of thought about how would Ugandans perceive it. You know, a foreigner managing a Ugandan airline, maybe it will be having to, you know, conflict of interest.
Save us the menace.
And the merit and the nationality.
Have you ever wondered why most times they hire Kenyans
for hotel management
and not Ugandans? Sometimes we also need to check ourselves as Ugandans. Our work ethics is usually
this thing has to make money, Banange, because Uganda Airlines has had a lot of challenges.
Yeah,
true.
So, and airline business is not for everybody. I must say, you need expatriates at times to see you through. But also, I'm very annoyed.
Okay, who do you want to box?
Is this how you portray your anger?
All right, Robert, please go ahead.
Didn't you see? You! Come! So it is okay to be annoyed. Not that one. So it is okay to be annoyed.
You're on the national.
So even me, I'm very annoyed today. Why am I very annoyed?
Please tell us.
I wake up in the morning. I get my national ID. I get my voter slip. I go under the scorching sun. I wait, I cast a vote for someone to be my member of parliament, which is okay. I'm practicing both my biblical and right and responsibility as a citizen to choose a leader. Then I hear that you see each of the people who has been elected that will come in the 12th parliament will be given 315 million to buy new cars.
So where
am I annoyed?
That's his money. That's
our
money.
That is our money.
Yeah.
2, is it really necessary? The previous parliament, they had 200 million. 3, when the framers of this constitution, because when I look at the constitution, that is Article 155 of the constitution gives autonomy to parliament. When I look at the Administration of Parliament Act, Chapter 257, it gives autonomy to Parliament to determine their salary, its and management of its own budget. Now I get upset and annoyed of those people. Why did you sit and come up with such a thing? But also, even the people now that are there, of course this was by the 11th Parliament, when you're thinking about this, I've already said there are things that are legally right, but morally wrong.
But then, why don't we employ Kira Motors to give these people cars?
I've seen people who've gotten this money and they have not bought the cars.
No, they should use Kira Motors. And
there are many members of parliament, let me tell you. The very funny cars they used while campaigning are the cars they remain with. And you don't give accountability. That I got 315 million, here is the vehicle I bought.
Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
Anyways,
those ones would even
at
be
the end
more
of the day,
expensive.
at the end of the day, the mere fact that members of parliament don't even pay tax off of their salaries, and we pay, you who earns 1 million, you end up with 200K in your pocket because pay as you earn has taken it. 20. That's very unfair, in all honesty.
Anyways,
we must go to parliament, you people. We must work very hard and serious and become MPs.
No, in actual sense, the motto for God and my country, I hope to every leader, it actually stands out that it's for God and your country. It's never about your garment, it's about your heart.
That is our motto.
And ultimately, is it followed? Is it at your heart that it's for God?
We used to have school mottos, Akwana, Chira, Yomba.
Anyways, one day, the truth is one day we're all leaving this earth and each of us will be held accountable on their own, individually. And these are things you'll be answerable for as a leader. What role are you playing? What role are you playing? Because these are God's people that you're playing with. It's their money. Anyways, Robert, what do we have on the local scene?
Oh, let me begin with President Yoweri Museveni speaking to the judiciary. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has re-emphasized the need for all Ugandans to take lead in preserving wetlands. The remarks were contained in a statement delivered by the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja on the occasion to mark World Wetland Day at NEMA head offices in Kampala. In 1994, the wetland cover stood at 15%, but this was declining up to 8.9% by 2024. However, the government intensified efforts to reclaim the degraded wetlands, and by 2025, Uganda's wetland cover recovered from 8.9% to now 9.3%. Uganda joined the rest of the world to mark the World Wetland Day under the theme, Wetlands and Traditional Knowledge, Celebrating Culture Heritage. Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabanja, represented the President of the Republic of Uganda at the National Environment Management Authority head offices in Kampala. Said Museveni encouraged the role of traditional leaders play in preserving the ecosystem and called upon all Ugandans to take lead in preserving the wetlands. The Prime Minister also launched the 10-year National Wetland Strategic Plan aimed at strengthening efforts of preserving wetlands. President Yoweri Museveni has urged the judiciary to embrace alternative dispute resolution mechanisms and available technology to ensure timely service delivery to litigants. The president said adopting ADR, which is Alternative Dispute Resolution, and digital systems will strengthen public confidence in the judiciary. He was represented by the Vice President Jessica Alupo at the 27th Annual Judges Conference at Munyonyo in Kampala. The judiciary convened the 27th Annual Judges Conference on the theme, Judicial Wellness, a Tool for Effective Case Management. President Museveni was represented by the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, who emphasized the willingness and good health among judicial officers. With a stunning case backlog of 16,000 cases, President Museveni reiterated speedy disposal of cases and maintaining an independent and strong judiciary. The president again called on judicial officers to fully embrace alternative dispute resolution mechanisms and modern technology as a means of dispensing justice effectively and reducing case backlog. The judiciary's latest ADR report shows that over 5,000 cases were disposed of at the different court levels in 2025 through alternative dispute resolution. The Chief Justice, Dr. Flavian Nzeija, said that while service delivery remains a key obligation, it cannot be effectively achieved without healthy judicial officers. He outlined key focus areas for the judiciary: strengthening ADR mechanisms and capacity building for judicial officers. The conference was attended by justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and High Court judges, during which performance reports from the different courts were presented. The Wakiso District Returning Officer, Talbot Musinguzi, declared James Kakoza elected MP for the elderly in Central Region. Shortly after declaring Kakoza as the MP representing the elderly persons tasked him to push for the public health insurance scheme. The voting of the regional representatives for the elderly in the Central Region was at Wakisha Resource Center in Wakiso Town Council. The elections were conducted under secret ballot using the Regional Electoral College, which is comprised of 5 members of each of the city/district executive committees within the Central Region, one older person appointed by the chairperson per city or district within the Central Region. The voting exercise commenced at 10 a.m. as delegates commended the Electoral Commission for a smooth and transparent voting process, which was peaceful. The elections had 2 candidates vying for the seat: James Kakoza, the NRM flag bearer, and Sandy Mary, an independent candidate. After the exercise and them exercising their constitutional rights to vote for their representatives to the 12th Parliament, the elderly appealed to their newly elected representative to push for public health insurance scheme. Finally, on the local scene, Uganda has taken center stage in regional peace efforts, having hosted a high-level international conference on the Great Lakes region recently. the ICGLR meeting, which targets claiming tensions in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, highlighted security cooperation and political dialogue as an avenue to the lasting peace. Former Ugandan Minister for Defense Chris Chirionga said cross-border trade in East Africa and beyond can only thrive where peace prevails. From Pondwe to Kasese, families separated by colonial borders share language, culture, and markets. Those are realities that must shape now governments and help them pursue peace and security. Dr. Crispus Chiyonga is Uganda's former defense minister as well as former ambassador to China. Rigid border controls hurt livelihoods and can fuel mistrust and insecurity in regions already scared by conflict. These views resonate strongly with what recently transpired at the ICGRL ad hoc ministerial meeting in Kampala. There were chaired by heads of critical institutions. The new executive secretary of the ICGRL, Dr. Mubita Wawerwa, was concerned that violence in eastern DRC threatened both local communities and the Great Lakes region. He decried targeted attacks on civilians and infrastructure, which risked creating a dangerous corridor for instability with regional and global consequences. Now, let Joanne give us what she has this morning.
Okay, and starting off with China that has banned hidden door handles on electric vehicles, becoming the first country to stop the use of the controversial designs that were first made popular by multi-billionaire Elon Musk's Tesla. Now, it comes as EVs are facing scrutiny from safety watchdogs around the world after a number of deadly incidents, including 2 fatal crashes in China involving Xiaomi EVs, in which power failures were suspected to have prevented doors from being opened. Under the new regulations, cars will only be allowed to be sold if they have a mechanical release both on the inside and outside of their doors, according to state media. The new rules are due to take effect on 1st January 2027. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology rules require the outside of every passenger door except the boot to have a recessed space measuring no smaller than 6 centimeters by 2 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters to allow access to the handle. Inside the car, there must be signs measuring at least 1 centimeter by 0.7 centimeter to show how to open the door. And moving on, the U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he had agreed to a trade deal with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the U.S. will lower tariffs on goods from India to 18% from 25%. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said India will reduce trade barriers to 0 and will also stop buying Russian oil. An additional 25% tariff penalty imposed for Delhi's refusal to stop buying oil from Russia will be dropped. The announcement comes less than a week after India and the European Union announced a landmark trade deal that capped nearly 2 decades of on-off talks. Modi said on X that he is delighted that an agreement with the US has been reached. In the post, Trump said that a morning phone call with Modi included discussions of trade and the Russian-Ukrainian war. He was quoted, "He agreed to stop buying Russian oil and to buy much more oil from the United States and potentially Venezuela." Trump added that at Modi's request, he immediately agreed to a trade deal that would see tariffs lowered and India's tariffs and non-tariff barriers reduced to 0. Forging forward, Ghana has paused citizenship applications for members of the African diaspora in order to make the system more accessible and user-friendly. Since 2016, those who can prove their ancestors came from Africa have been able to get Ghanaian nationality. It was primarily aimed at the descendants of those who were victims of the transatlantic slave trade. More than 1,000 people, including African-American singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder, have obtained Ghanaian citizenship in recent years. However, some applicants have complained about the number of stages involved, as well as the high cost. Dr. Erieka Bennett, ambassador for the Diaspora African Forum, which helps people relocate to Ghana, told the BBC that many applicants struggled with the requirement to submit DNA evidence within a week of the application, saying the time frame was impossible for most, and that some also questioned the reliability of DNA testing. She said the one-week deadline for submitting all additional documentation was difficult to meet. Another concern was cost. The application fee stands at $136, while shortlisted candidates are required to pay a further $280. They are then vetted and attend a one-day citizenship orientation before finally receiving their nationality at a ceremony overseen by President John Mahama. Now, this is a bit interesting. You know, I've seen a lot of famous people getting Ghanaian passports. I think 2025 in July, it was Manchester City, and Belgian winger, that was Jeremy Doku. He got his in July 25, and the latest in January 2026 is the American YouTuber and live streamer Aisha Speed, that is Darren Watkins Jr. got his just last month. Why don't people come to Uganda to get?
Oh well,
we don't have people.
I guess our terms and conditions are rather
For me, I
different.
was so taken up by these electronic cars. Now, the world is moving against fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And we are going to electric cars. And now if
they are locking people inside.
If they are locking people inside, because of...
Well, let's have a quick look at what the daily
Because you know what means you're caught up in a vehicle and you can't get out and you need to escape.
Let's have a quick look at what we have in the dailies. The new vision in there has PLE subjects to increase to 6 and details of draft primary school curriculum out, grading system to change. Want to know more? It's in the new vision. Judiciary directed on case backlog, another story to look at, and TikToker remanded over hate speech. It's a TikToker who said that people should ban all NRM supporters. Now, Museveni lawyers challenge Kasibante's document recovery bid, and a boy with spina bifida shines in PLE. Beautiful story. Meanwhile, Narrow starts project to revive cattle farming in Teso. In the Daily Monitor, forgotten PLE scripts. Interesting. And that's a story in the Daily Monitor. But also in the Daily Monitor, the Lizard has something to say that I can't quite figure out. We'll definitely get back to it. But Bamturachi leaves loss-making Uganda Airlines. That's a story as well in the Daily Monitor. And tenders in there for you to grab and take opportunity of. Quick look at the Citizen in Tanzania. Tanzania unveils record 61.9 trillion shillings budget framework for 2026-2027. And mother's pain as stunting hits home, and Uber's exit from Tanzanian market raises questions. I know, right? Minister warns against fraud as universal health cover kicks off. Now, in the Daily Nation, 1 trillion, how 1 trillion body debt will hit you. That is for Kenyans. And pressure Kenya's loans burden risen to 12 trillion and higher than the recommended ceiling. State sued over chaotic border rain amid Matatu strike. And CBE, the bold dream that turned into a nightmare. All of that in the dailies. Get yourself a copy to get more of the detail that is in each paper. I must say, interesting stories from each paper in there. But for now, let's have a short break. When we get back, it's another conversation. Just make sure that you save the number 0709-602592 so that you are part of the conversation with myself, Robert, and John. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and ready to go on with another brand new day at the start of the month of February. Now, magistrate declared Namere Masaka City woman MP-elect after vote recount, and Masaka Chief Magistrate Albert Asimwe declared the ruling National Resistance Movement candidate, that is Justine Namere, as Masaka City woman MP-elect after a contentious 4-day vote recount, overturning the Electoral Commission's earlier declaration of Miss Rose Nalubowa as the winner. Now, this event in particular has been rather interesting because the same judge had a recount of other candidates, and in there he found boxes, voting boxes where seals were broken and then cancelled the recounting exercise. But in this particular case, he found a box whose seal was broken, but indeed allowed that recount should go ahead because it's just one box compared to 6 or 5 boxes that were found in other cases. And it leaves many asking questions as to where is the consistency, but then also what does the law say? What is the truth? What is the lie? At the end of the day, it all lies in the hands of the law. Now, of course, the lawyers of Ms. Nalubowa are appealing this particular case and definitely will be following up on it. Now, I'm not alone in studio. I want to once again welcome you to the show. Yet another brand new morning, brand new day to encourage you to kickstart it in zeal and power. But with me in studio is Robert Chirabonyonyitono and Joanne Moronje. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you, Julie. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Not to say that, of course, the small lady just next to me doesn't look so. All the beautiful ladies out there are
was
not
the
looking
identifier a small lady necessary?
You see, we don't only have people who are able to see us. We have people who cannot see but listen.
Okay.
The people who have a disability, visually impaired. So they should know that character, the size, and I must create for them a picture of the people I work with.
I see yourself just getting out of an entanglement.
Yeah, so,
yeah.
So they wonder, sorry, and they were like, but who is Joanne? Well, she's a small, short,
Robert.
Anyways,
please. Is it because it rained?
What's the
why is it short and what?
Joanne, good morning.
Good morning, Julie, and good morning to you, our viewers. Of course, it is a chilly morning. Most parts of the metropolitan area will receive a heavy downfall. But if you're using Ring Road, you're coming from Makindi and you want to pass through Chibuye to Ring Road or Kabaka and Jagala, there is a fuso truck there that is causing traffic jam to amass. So use alternative routes because you're likely to get late for work. But away from that, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, last month ordered investigations into the mismanagement of the Uganda airline. And of course, he decided to shake up its entire management. And of course, he dismissed the Uganda Airlines Chief Executive, Jennifer Bamtorashi. And of course, right now, as we speak, if you're there, I think her job is about to be, the top position for the airline is about to be advertised. And
well, he's actually considering the former CEO of Ethiopian Airlines.
Exactly. And I kind of thought about how would Ugandans perceive it. A foreign managing a Ugandan airline. Maybe it will be having to, conflict of interest.
Save us the menace.
And the merit and the nationality.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to the show. In case you're just joining us, you are very welcome. And if you started the show with us, thank you so much for choosing to be inspired this morning by UBC TV, especially on a cold morning, chilly morning, and a rainy one for some. Now it's time for the real. At this time, we get into a conversation where we share our 2 cents and one that you are part of as well. So 0709 602 592. Yesterday was World Wetland Day, and the theme was Wetlands and Traditional Knowledge, celebrating cultural heritage. And for Uganda, the fight to restore Uganda's wetlands is what we are looking at. Now, just to kickstart this off, we use the word wetlands, but many times these are some of the words we use, but never take time to know what exactly they mean, because sometimes meaning, if we add meaning to something, then it gives us a reason to fight. And that's why we want to start with the definition of what exactly a wetland is, even if we have the idea of it or know it, but what exactly is it? Well, a wetland is a transitional ecosystem between land and water, defined by soil that is covered with water either permanently or seasonally. That's a wetland. And a wetland acts as a natural filter and flood barrier, supporting unique water, adapted vegetation, and diverse wildlife in there. So that already shows you what a role it plays in just existing as it's supposed to. But this morning, let's look at the different things about wetlands, from its current wetlands in Uganda in particular, from their current states to matters law enforcement, and of course to their effect in case they are destroyed by you and us here. You can share your opinion as well as your 2 cents, 0709 602 592. I'll start with Joan. Do share the current status of wetlands in Uganda as we speak right now.
As we speak right now, the wetlands in Uganda are under severe pressure. We've seen NEMA trying to mitigate whatever causes the destruction or the degradation, and the government is really putting out policies that can help maintain the wetland cover, but we still have some constraints when it comes to the wetlands conservativeness and also management. And as we speak, the degradation rate of the wetlands, the country loses approximately 293 kilometers of wetlands annually. That is a year, 293 kilometers. For my viewer out there, 293 kilometers could be from Kampala past Masaka, past Lyantonde, as you're approaching Barra, around there. So you can imagine all that area cover from Kampala to that vast area that we lose every year when it comes to the degradation of the wetlands. And of course, the coverage trends, wetland cover reduced from 15.5% in 1994 to about 8.9% by 2020, and though it increased slightly to 9.3% in 2021 due to the restoration efforts that I told you earlier that the government is putting in place, and this is all by NEMA. But when we look at the regional coverage or regional variations, Eastern Uganda is most affected, and it has lost over 39%, followed by the central region, which is at 29%, the western region at 28%, and northern region at 21%. These statistics they come from the database of NEMA. And as they aim to restore degraded areas, NEMA is focusing on the government on restoring 1.2 million hectares by 2025. That was the focus by then. The report from NEMA is yet to come out, but like I told you, the eastern region shows the highest level of degradation. So people out there, we need these wetlands. We need to make sure that we protect this wetland cover.
And that's a surprise. If anything, I expected the Central to take the lead.
Why?
I'm surprised it comes second. I mean, it's the Central. It's where everyone comes to, I mean, survival. It's the the Central,
CBD.
The CBD itself, but even the outskirts of the CBD, there's a it's a densely populated space, so you'd expect that encroachment is at a higher scale than other areas. But Robert, let's look at enforcement. Definitely with what John has expressed in layman language, looking at Kampala to Masaka Road as you're approaching Barara, that's
a vast area.
That's a vast area. If it's a travel by public means, that's about 5 hours to 6 hours of travel. That alone can give you how huge that is every single year.
Yeah.
What is the law doing? What is the law not doing? What is the law expected to do?
Now, first I want to start by saying it is a shame to this generation of people we believe who went to school, and indeed they went to school. We believe who are very knowledgeable, and indeed they are knowledgeable because they have the knowledge, that we are the ones massively encroaching on wetlands. If you move in different parts of this country, you're going to see both the poor, the rich, the educated, the uneducated doing the same things. I know many people have reclaimed wetlands and have put homes, have put commercial buildings, but these are rich people.
Yeah.
You find a doctor, sometimes a professor, sometimes a journalist, and they are not out of knowledge on the importances of wetlands, which Joan will maybe more emphasize importance of these wetlands for our people. Maybe there are those that don't know, so I don't want to bother myself. Maybe Joan could save them, because I want to believe you went to school, you studied, and you know the value of wetlands. Now, before even we go to enforcement, you are Ugandan. For sure, certain things, you are Ugandan who goes to that wetland. You know it's a wetland. You buy the wetland. You bring trucks you bring snow trucks. You
Even
make
the
channels.
surveyor knows it is a wetland.
It is a wetland. You know? Let's begin with you. You yourself, even before the law comes in place. Now, we have National Management Authority, NEMA. We've seen them try. Last year, we saw them take on a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, we saw them knock homes, knock down, and some of us decided to politicize this even. Why is this particular petrol station not removed? Why is this not removed, you know? There's selective justice. But first, you're conscious, you who is going there, a Uganda who is patriotic and you love your country, you know you're not a frog to stay in a wetland. You who encroaches on this, you know the impact of you getting into this. So the law, we've not enforced it to the letter, I must say. We've not done that as a country. sometimes you have these operations. I saw the executive director of NEMA last year saying these are going to be ongoing until we've reclaimed every wetland. Kumbe, they were just going to happen for a particular time and end. And also the challenging thing is, when they put these structures down, sometimes I wonder how Ugandans think and believe. After a few months, you're going to see someone who has bought that place, well knowing NEMA came and broke those houses. So
but also
there is lack of consistency.
Yes. Especially with
these operations.
The implementers of the law. I think for me the inconsistency is
there's so much inconsistency that sometimes I'm tempted. I don't want to believe that maybe there is conflict of interest. But also politicization. It is in Uganda where you find a leader knowing enforcement is for the good of him and those that will come after, and he says, leave my voters. You can't remove people from wetlands. You asked why the Eastern. Now in Eastern, they have quite a number of wetlands, but there is massive planting of rice. And I want to thank His Excellency that he's done so much in spreading the gospel of let's not eliminate these wetlands. Where possible, at least apply fish farming. We have Limoto wetland. Limoto wetland was formerly almost going to the dogs. Government moved in, reclaimed this, guided locals on how best to use this wetland. So Eastern wetlands are mostly because of agriculture. People see a wetland, they want rice, they want, you know, and so whereas here in Uganda, most of them, in Central, most of them, it is for accommodation. So the pace is slightly, the rate is slightly low. Because here, yes, someone will need a snow truck, not to forget the poor or the less privileged, who for them, they don't need much to put their makeshift. And when you go to some places that are wetlands.
You know, Robert, at one time I asked someone who was so proud of having constructed in a wetland, and I needed to know how much do they sell these plots. And I'm like, they go 50 by 50, around 3.4 million. I'm like, and you're okay with encroaching on a wetland? And they had no problem. Even the money that they buy these plots in the wetlands are really,
definitely,
it's really cheap.
Not to forget, there are those also who go there. You know, when someone is selling a plot in a wetland, this is what they do. Usually they don't market them when it is a rainy season. Yes, they don't market them when the brokers will not go. Those are not plots on sale. Now, when it is intense sunshine,
dry season,
that's when they will tell you, you know, or
John, give us the importance of a wetland, because, well, I highlighted just a few at the start, at the preamble of this particular conversation, but perhaps some light needs to be shed to understand why exactly they need to be preserved, because you'll find a Ugandan who will tell you for what.
I completely
in a very ignorant manner.
I concur with you, Julie, because you might find that these people encroach on them and ignorantly. They don't know why they need to be preserved or conserved. But wetlands do serve us, especially Ugandans, be more specific, in a very big manner, in a way that let's look at the aquatic life for the wetlands. Let's speak about the flora and the fauna, the collective plants and animals that are living in the wetlands. These are habitats for these animals. So what happens if you encroach on them? Where is the flora and the fauna going to be living? And also, we see most of the wetlands join so many rivers in Uganda. For example, River Nile, we have River Rizi. Wetlands act as filters, you know, a sponge, or like a sieve. If you're making juice and you decide to sieve out the juice, or the residues remain on top. This is what the wetlands do. They are sponges to these other big rivers. Yes, they do purify the water that goes on into these rivers. And in the end result, when it is properly done, it helps to maintain the water levels, especially in the dry season and in the rain seasons. That is why at times, in most places whereby wetlands have massively been destructed or degraded, there's so many floods. all the water levels have really surpassed what they're supposed to be. So they really serve a very big importance in purifying and also helping out not to pollute the bigger rivers because they help out in the filtration processes. And also they serve as, natural buffers for the climate when it comes to the climate. These wetlands are very, very critical in such a way in droughts and in floods. It is a buffer that can prevent you from even extreme conditions that can provide severe consequences to Ugandans. When we talk about the people around them, some of these wetlands provide food to the people that stay around. Some do fishing, others, like you said, agriculture, commercial farming, rice and everything. So if others even just decide to draw water from there for those who cannot afford a national water or borehole water or spring water, they would draw water from these wetlands in order to survive in their homes. And also wetlands do act as agricultural support because we've seen, for example, fish farming. If you're near a wetland and maybe you cannot really sponsor yourself with artificial irrigation, if you do get some of these simple maintenance mechanisms, they do help out in contributing to food security. And also wetlands do help out in ensuring the aquatic life for the wetlands do not come to endanger people. Personally, I'm afraid of reptiles, be it a snake. If reptiles are a snake, a slug, a snail, all those millipedes, all those crows, if you need me to go away from an environment, bring a reptile around. So I can imagine if these wetlands are distracted. Well, what did you just bring? A snake? So if they are distracted, they can really become a danger. You have so many families that leave kids alone. Parents go out to work or they go out farming and you find they're left alone at home. What happens if the flora and fauna are distracted, the fauna especially are distracted, they have no habitat, they decide to seek refuge into people's homes.
Right, and thank you very much for highlighting that indeed, because without the wetlands preserving all the wildlife that they can't preserve, obviously this wildlife has to find itself in people's
But also
homes.
there are medicinal plants.
The flora.
That's very true.
You can only find in wetlands. Now
That's highly true.
Now if you mess around with them.
Yes, Mr. Herbalist.
Now, anyways, this conversation has to start rolling out its carpet because we have to leave room for JMU Tourism Express. But the point here is wetlands are very important to Uganda, not just for decoration or the beauty of Uganda, but even preserving the ecosystem of Uganda and our climate as well, and all the importances that John has placed as we continue to celebrate World Wetland Day. It was yesterday, but the celebration doesn't stop in a sense that it's up to you as an individual. The choice you make, the 3.4 million you pay to buy a wetland and construct it, you're destroying a whole future. You think it's just for now, but your children are paying the price in the future. Your grandchildren are going to pay the price in the future. So let's stick to the theme. Let each individual educate, take that time, scroll your phone and just type and surf about wetlands. Educate yourself and play a role in making sure that wetlands are restored but also preserved in Uganda. The theme this year is Wetlands and Traditional Knowledge, celebrating cultural heritage. 1 + 1 makes a bundle, and together we can indeed stand up for Uganda and preserve it as it's supposed to be. Up next is Zakia Laki with JMU Tourism Express. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
can now get all the chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Tarehe Sita is celebrated in Uganda to commemorate the start of the National Resistance Army's liberation struggle on 6th February 1981, an attack on Kabamba Barracks, leading to the NRM's rise to power in 1986 and the formation of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. The day symbolizes the foundation of the People's Army, national unity, and the ongoing commitment to peace, security, and socio-economic transformation. On Friday, 6th February 2026, the 45th Tarehe Sita anniversary will be celebrated under the theme Defending the Gains of the Revolution and Honoring the Sacrifices of the Freedom Fighters, a call for national unity, peace, and socio-economic transformation. The celebrations will take place at the National Teachers College grounds in Kabale Municipality. The activities will be relayed live on UBC TV.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Welcome back from the newsreel. Good morning. It's such a cold morning. If you're still in your bed, make sure you carry something to do, cover yourself with. Well, this morning we'll be talking about road safety. It's a very interesting topic. I believe every Ugandan should be up to watch because we are all road users. And with me is none other than Joe Walker, a Ugandan award winner, who is a road safety advocate. He's going to be digesting all of these things, and I'm more than excited to actually hear from him. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? How are you? It's not cold, by the way. It's just a perfect weather. If you are thinking of what to do, you're struggling, get up, stretch, go for that walk, and you'll have a beautiful day. How are you? How are you doing? Good to see you guys.
I'm excited about the energy you bring.
What's the energy God gives us?
Amen. Well, now for the person that is watching you for the very first time, what is the core philosophy of the Joe Walker movement?
The Joe Walker movement is born out of walking and safety for people, safety for lives. If you're walking, if you know what's happening on the road, the biggest number of the victims of road crashes, actually it's pedestrians, they account for that. It's the second biggest, account for 34%. Before the border borders took over, it used to be the biggest number. And most of these are really young people, people below 35. So the Joe Walker movement is people who are walking in their lives, in their everyday life, and then they are killed by reckless drivers, killed by poor infrastructure, they are killed by reckless cyclists and all that. So basically, it's how can we make roads safe to save lives. And we are talking about saving lives of everyday people who are walking, looking to make ends meet, everyday people moving from one point of their life to another point. And the whole idea, the whole thinking is to make sure every journey ends back home safely.
Mm.
Yes.
Now, talking about reckless driving, what state do you find the roads of Uganda, especially to the movement that you're pushing?
It's a combination of many things. You know, the state of the roads, there's the condition, the physical condition of the road, and then the condition of what happens on the road when you have the physical condition of the road plus the road users in there. So the state of roads is just, how can I say? The state of the roads, I like looking at it from what we get in terms of road safety report. Because the purpose of the road is to take people from one point to another. So are the roads taking people from one point to another safely? Or are we losing lives on the roads? So there's that's really what I like to look at it more as the state of our roads, more than the physical surface condition of our roads. That one is well documented. We've had many of those, and I like to look at how does that physical condition of the road, you know, when you hear the president talking of so many kilometers of tarmac that have been added, how does it add to the safety of the people that are using that road? That's the state of the roads that excites me. Yeah.
And you're
Or
using,
keeps me awake. Yeah.
Yeah, you're using walking as your tool of advocacy. Why are you using walking?
Because walking, just like I've said, is one, people are walking for many reasons. Let's look at Kampala, where we are right now. More than 50% of the people coming into the city have no other means of getting into the city other than walking. So you're talking about walking. If right now it is 7:30, if you go and stand on the Ginger Road coming from the Bweyogere Cheka side, or if you go to Namuongo looking from the guys looking from the Makinde side, or right Wandegea coming from Kawempe side, or you go coming the Natete side, you see how many thousands of people flocking into the city, all of them walking to work, walking to school, walking to different destinations. So walking is a big means of transport. And then when you look at these people who are walking, how safe are they? How is in the infrastructure for them? Is the infrastructure really catering for this 50% of the people? Or the infrastructure caters for only the other 50% of the people who are driving and using taxis and using border borders? So is the infrastructure really suitable for the pedestrians? Is the infrastructure safe for the pedestrians? And I would like to recommend KCCA. They are trying to do some good work on the new roads, putting up pedestrian walkways and all that. But then they are doing a very bad job when it comes to enforcement of usage. Because you find pedestrian walkways actually become stores for market vendors. The guys who are dealing in cars and all that, they're using them as car showrooms. And then you have border borders riding on them. Then you have government cars, you know, the ones which are driven with impunity, driving on the pavement. Where's the enforcement? Yeah, I can go on forever.
Yeah, that was actually taking me to my next question, because I've seen pedestrians not use those routes. We have zebra crossing, but pedestrians will still choose the opposite route. Well, coming in now for the next movement that you have, which is Kampala to Hoima, happening on the 28th of February. Tell us about this one.
So on 28th of Feb, we're setting off for another expedition, another long distance walk, Kampala to Hoima. It comes, interestingly, it's the 5th time we are doing such long walks. The first one was Kampala to Bushenyi, which was in 2022. Around this time in 2022, I was embarking on a journey, which I thought was a one-off, and then it has given birth to so many others. And then 2023 was Kampala to Mbale, 2024, Kampala to Fort Portal, 2025 was Kampala to Gulu. Now we are setting off to Hoima. And we are setting off, this will be the shortest long distance journey we're making at 212, I think, kilometers. And we'll be moving, we set off on Saturday. It's a Saturday, 28th Feb. And we are going, and we'll be having, we should be there in 5-6 days. We'll be making stopovers to talk to roadside communities. Roadside communities, these are the vendors that we've been talking about. These are the taxi operators. These are people who really, they do their business alongside the roads. And we talk to them and we say, how can we make the road safe? Then we talk to schools and talk to school kids and teach them about the basics of road safety. When we were young, you know, we were always taught, when you are crossing the road, look left, look right, look left again. If the road is clear, then cross. Nowadays, you see people, you know, they're just coming and they are running into the road. We'll try to talk to school kids and give them the basics of road safety. Then we talk to local administrators. Local administrators, they're the guys who are in charge of, you know, the market vendors and all that. How can we make our road safe? They also local administration. If you look, the last time we were in Gulu, you know, when we went to Lacho Hospital, the numbers of people that were streaming in from the, should I say, the countryside, the Great North, you know, all of them coming from areas which are administered by the local administrators. How do we make our feeder roads safe? How do we sensitize the people? Because those are the same people who come into the city. They come as, come into the town, they come as border riders, they come as taxi drivers. How can we sensitize people at every stage? We will also look for the traditional leaders. Traditional leaders are a big voice. They are a big influence. The cultural leaders, they're a big influence in all communities. How can we borrow their voice to make sure we add it on the road safety voice? And then plus, we will talk to the motorists and also try to see what can we add to the road safety infrastructure. Is it doing a zebra crossing? Is it just signage or whatever? And see, put our hands together with the Ministry of Works officials, and then we talk to the, you know, the other road safety activists in there who are already working in the area, put our hands together. And what can we do to make our roads safe and save lives? You know, if you don't know, every day, according to the statistics came from 2024 from the Uganda police, 14 people don't make it back home because of road crashes. More than 45 are seriously injured, that their lives will never be the same again because of road crashes. That's the number that keeps us awake. That's the number that we say, look, enough is enough. We need to say no and stop the madness. And what is killing these people? Yes, there are the issues of bad infrastructure, there are issues of, but the biggest issue is reckless driving and speeding. And you know, reckless driving, we are talking about specifically reckless overtaking. You know, you've been on the road and you see guys cutting into the corner. I'm like, did you see what was coming? You've seen so many near misses that guys capture online and all that. Yeah, so that accounts for more than 50% of the road crashes. So we will see how can we eliminate, first of all, these human, should I call them human behavior issues? And then, you know, when you go to the human behavior issues, then after that we can come back to address the issues of infrastructure and all that. Because you know, if you look at what happens, you know, the trends, most of the road crashes happen between Friday evening and Sunday night.
Okay.
And they are happening on the same roads, which are a bit relatively safe between on these other days. So what is it that happens about human behavior? And then the other thing that we need to talk to the Ministry of Works officials about is so what happens is our roads, everybody that makes a mistake, our roads are punishing every mistake. So how can we do our infrastructure in a way that, yes, human beings will always make mistakes. How can we make the infrastructure forgiving? So those are some of the things we will talk about all through these walks. And what we normally do is when we come back from these walks, we normally compile a report of what we've heard from the people, what we've heard from the communities, what we've observed with our own eyes, and we share with the Ministry of Works for if the issues of infrastructure for them to take care of them. We share with the police if the issues of enforcement, take care of them. We share also with the policymakers, our legislators. Is it the issues of appropriation of funds? We share the reports with them, and each one of us do their part and make our roads safe.
That's a very good job that you're actually doing. Now, for people that are watching, they're wondering why the oil city as the destination for this particular movement?
If you're looking at the oil city, we are talking about Hoima, the oil city. Hey, hey, Hoima, we're coming. One of the things that if you study the reports that are coming from the ministry of, from the Uganda police, apart from Kampala metropolitan area, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 as the highest numbers with a big number of road crashes, the Albertine region where Hoima is comes number 5.
Okay.
That makes it a hotspot. 2, just like any region in Uganda, Hoima is also afflicted by road crashes. You know, Hoima has enjoyed a great growth of infrastructure with the oil roads and all that. But then, you know, as many other things that we've encountered, the roads do not come with education to the road users on how to safely use the roads. All they have from the potato garden, next they have a highway. They don't know how to deal with the highway. So we'll go and sensitize them on how to safely use the roads, use them to transport their produce, use it to develop themselves but not to kill themselves. So that's why Hoima. 2, Hoima, there's so much attention on Hoima. Let's use Hoima with the attention that it's having to tell the story of road safety. How can we make it safe? Road safety, Hoima is a gateway to the Great Machons National Park. So how do we make sure the roads that are leading our tourists to the Great Machon National Park are safe? Because you don't want to attract people to our country and they come in to explore our beauty and then you lose them on the road. So there are so many reasons why Hoima, and I can go on until the cows come back home.
You did highlight the part of tourism, and I'm wondering from your perspective how our national road state record impacts, you know, activities like those. How are the roads also going to brand Uganda themselves?
I would really love our roads to brand Uganda as a place where you have good mobility, safe mobility. Like the moment you land at Entebbe, you are able to drive through the greenery and explore all the beauty as you go to Machos National Park. That's the way I would love our roads to brand Uganda. But unfortunately, we have this blemish of road crashes. So I would like this story to change, and we make sure when the tourists are coming to Uganda, they are not given advisories of, please, don't ride on a boda boda. No, if you're to ride on a boda boda, tell people to ride on a boda boda as an adventure. How do we make the boda boda ride safe? How do we make the journey from Kampala to Machon National Park safe? So that's the tourism that I'm looking at. Ugandan roads should really brand you know, they should be looked at more for safety. If somebody is looking about Ugandan roads, they hear that we have a good safety report, you know, safety, we are excellent roads, good driving surfaces, safe roads. That's the story of Ugandan roads that tourists should encounter. If you're coming to Uganda, that's what you should hear. So that's why we need to eliminate this. And we are saying, police, come, do enforcement. Ministry of Works, how can we make our roads safe? And you and me, the road users, how can we responsibly drive on these roads to make sure everybody, every journey gets everyone back home safe?
As you give us your last remarks also to that one that wants to join you on this particular walk, what is it that they need to know? What is it that they should do to be a part of it?
So if you would like to join us, excited to have you on board. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Just join us. Check out the website, www.joewalker.org. You'll find on the landing page, you'll find the details of how to register. You can also find the same on my social media handles. You get the details, you register. After registering, there's a training plan for you. You don't wake up today and you say, tomorrow I'm going to walk. There are some special guys who can do it, but I would like also you to enjoy the experience of walking. There's a training plan for you to condition the body, to condition the mind, to make sure that day when it comes, you are ready. And then on there also, there's an indication of the logistics that you require. Mostly we take care of the other logistics, but you need to take care of your feeding and accommodation. And then after that, you are ready to kick off on 28th of February, heading all the way Kampala to Hoima, on a beautiful journey where we'll be walking. You know, when you are driving through Uganda, you don't get to explore the beauty. You need to walk and see the beauty of that Uganda is. And one of the moments that really stuck with me is like from the last walk, when we were crossing the Karuma, the Karuma Bridge, crossing the Great Nile, heading to, oh my goodness. You need to step there. Next time you drive over, yes, it's also a good experience. But when you cross it on your feet, it's a different experience. Come, let's explore and see what can we find on the great road heading to Hoima.
It's been amazing having you, Mr. Joe Walker. And for those, please jump on this one and get to explore, but also add a voice onto the safety. It's until your family gets involved that you can actually take this seriously. You've had most of these accidents are happening on Friday and then Saturday. So for you that is a road user, you need to be cautious and you need to be a part of this one. It does not just affect the outsiders, but you yourself. Well, stick around with us. We are still going on with Good Morning Uganda.
Good.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Tarehe Sita is celebrated in Uganda to commemorate the start of the National Resistance Army's liberation struggle on 6th February 1981, an attack on Kabamba Barracks, leading to the NRM's rise to power in 1986 and the formation of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. The day symbolizes the foundation of the People's Army, national unity, and the ongoing commitment to peace, security, and socio-economic transformation. On Friday, 6th February 2026, the 45th Tarehe Sita anniversary will be celebrated under the theme Defending the Gains of the Revolution and Honoring the Sacrifices of the Freedom Fighters, a call for national unity, peace, and socio-economic transformation. The celebrations will take place at the National Teachers College grounds in Kabale Municipality. The activities will be relayed live on UBC TV.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
It is very cloudy and threatening terrain here at Nile Avenue while we do broadcast to you live. It is a Tuesday morning and welcome back from Tourism Express with Zakelaki. My name is Joanne N. Murundi. It is time for our corporate news and starting off with lake safety. Water transport on Lake Victoria will become safer and more reliable. This follows the completion of an ultra-modern maritime rescue coordination center in Mwanza, Tanzania, a facility designed to strengthen search and rescue operation across the lake. Dennis Sigoa, our reporter there, reports.
This facility on the shores of Lake Victoria in Mwanza, Tanzania, has one major mission: improving safety on the lake. The newly completed Maritime Rescue Coordination Center will act as the nerve center for maritime safety operations.
This is the coordinating one, but we have 3 sub-centers and some marine equipment to access, because the lake is vast, so we deployed strategically to certain airports like Nansio, Kanyala and Msoma, and we deploy small search and rescue centers there.
Funded by the governments of Tanzania and Uganda at a cost of over $2 million, the center is part of the multinational Lake Victoria Maritime Communications and Transport Project. With a clear view of the lake, the center enhances real-time communication, reduces rescue response time, and strengthens cross-border maritime safety for Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya.
Now someone can say that I can travel from Mwanza to Bukoba by lake because it is safe. And you remember that the water transport is cheaper than road transport. So even the business communities, they will need now to put their cargo on the vessels because they are sure that those cargo will reach Port Bell in Uganda, will reach Kisumu in Kenya, and so on.
As system checks and vessel calibration continue ahead of the official commissioning, the facility is already being hailed as a major boost to safety and efficiency along the Central Corridor's multimodal transport network. Lake Victoria has recorded fatal accidents linked to poor communication and delayed response.
We keep hearing questions like, is the water safe? In the past, there were so many accidents on the lake, costing lots of dollars in terms of losses, in terms of, the cost to human life. So there's all of these concerns that maybe it's not safe and maybe it's too good to be true. But
authorities say the center will reduce such risks.
We also enhance the communication on the lake by erecting communication towers on islands, the island of Soswa, Kweru and Kunen. The reason is that we get a two-way communication with the distressed people. They have to be connected with the such and rescue centers. So we enhance phone communication between the distressed and receiving sub-center.
Notable tragedies include the 1996 MV Bukoba disaster that claimed over 800 lives, and the 2018 MV Nyerere accident in Tanzania, which killed more than 200 people. Dennis Igoa for UBC.
And about our tech news, Uganda's public service is steadily moving from physical to digital. At the center of this transformation is the national backbone infrastructure, the government's fiber optic superhighway, driving efficiency, accountability, and secure online services. One of its standout innovations is UG Pass, a digital authentication and e-signature platform under NITA Uganda. Let's have a look at this transformation.
Launched in 2006, just ahead of the CHOGM conference, the national backbone infrastructure has quietly evolved over nearly 2 decades. The fiber, stretched across the country, connects ministries, agencies, and districts to a single high-capacity government network. The backbone is in 68 districts, with Phase 5 pushing that reach even further.
This connectivity is supplemented by private sector connectivity, but the government connectivity is most reliable and most, I would say, it has the highest capacity. We upgraded and we have 2 routes of connection to the undersea cable. We are connecting from Kenya through Mombasa and also through Tanzania.
Under Phase 5, close to 6,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable are being laid, with deployment accelerating after initial delays in equipment acquisition.
Our plan was within 5 years, we should have 100% of all districts connected to the backbone. So it's a superhighway cable, so we shall have a superhighway cable traversing the whole country, and then government will extend now the middle mile, last mile, even the private sector shall tap into that backbone. It shall be the de facto highway cable for all internet traffic in the country.
Riding on the MBI are digital solutions that eliminate delays, cut out middlemen, and improve transparency. At the heart of this shift is UG Pass, Uganda's digital authentication and e-signature system.
It has enabled government or the users of this solution to be more efficient. If you are signing a contract of, let's say, 2,000 pages, you can now sign with just a click of a button. You can also bulk sign, so you can have thousands of contracts of whatever number of pages, and in a click of a button, you'll be able to sign all the documents genuinely, and the signature is tied to an individual.
UG Pass tackles one of the most persistent challenges in public service: fraud and forgery. Every digitally signed document carries a timestamp, a secure signature, and a verification trail. Citizens, banks, and institutions can independently confirm authenticity without making calls or physical follow-ups. The system is already finding uptake in the financial sector and is set to expand into a national public.
Passports, we are seeing e-passport, driving license, birth certificates, education certificates, all those documents now can be signed digitally and secured, and the receiver can verify genuinely that this is a genuine digital government document. So it will now curtail the issues of fraud documents or fake documents.
As digital government expands, inclusivity remains a priority, which is why NITA Uganda is now preparing to extend the national backbone infrastructure to island districts. Kalangala and Buvuma have been earmarked for connection.
It's quite efficient in terms of deployment because we're going through the lake, and we don't have the obstacles are less when we are through the lake. It is a much more faster deployment process, but probably within, I would say within the next 1 year. I don't expect it to be more than a year, but within 1 year, those 2 islands will be connected.
From fiber in the ground to trust in the system, the national backbone infrastructure.
Let's look at the forex rates as they stood on 2nd February 2026, starting off with the US dollar that was buying at 3,557.73 and sold at 3,567.73. By midday, the rate of the dollar that was buying at 3,570.64 and sold at 3,580.64. By the close of business, the dollar bought at 3,567.68 and sold at 3,577.68, while the Great British Pound bought at 4,873.80 and sold at 4,890.33. The euro bought in at 4,220.92 and sold at 4,233.11. Kenyan shilling bought at 27.63 and sold at 27.75, whereas the Tanzanian shilling bought at 1.36 and sold off at 1.40. And the South African rand bought at 222.24 and sold at 228.98. And that brings us to the end of our business segment here on Good Morning Uganda. Coming up is Julie with the agenda. Good morning once again. Thanks for accompanying us this morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo,
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Tarehe Sita is celebrated in Uganda to commemorate the start of the National Resistance Army's liberation struggle on 6th February 1981, an attack on Kabamba Barracks, leading to the NRM's rise to power in 1986 and the formation of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. The day symbolizes the foundation of the People's Army, national unity, and the ongoing commitment to peace, security, and socio-economic transformation. On Friday, 6th February 2026, the 45th Tarehe Sita anniversary will be celebrated under the theme Defending the Gains of the Revolution and Honoring the Sacrifices of the Freedom Fighters, a call for national unity, peace, and socio-economic transformation. The celebrations will take place at the National Teachers College grounds in Kabale Municipality. The activities will be relayed live on UBC TV.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Nze Sospita Naruogo Kasale Village Gombolola Magada Munamutumba. Chairman w'ekyalo ye yambuulira nti bagenda okubawa ensimbi ez'abakadde. Omanyi olw'obukadde bwange sijjukira ddi lwe natandika naye ebbanga liwezeeko nga nzifuna kumpi emirundi ng'ena, guno gwakuna. Mbadde neebalamu embuzi 2 naye olwaleero wano wenjogerera ziri 4 kubanga olwaleero emu gye nasooka okugula ezadde 2 yinza okufunamu ente. Naali agadde ku nnyumba yange okwongerako akasenge. Njagala okwebaza Museveni emirundi mingiko. Kale olwaleero nno nina embuzi 4 okuva mu ssente Museveni zampa. Okulya, ndya, ninywa, sibulwa sukaali n'amajaani n'amata. Amata ga buli lunaku ngafuna wano gama 2 ekyeggulo bwe ntyo.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Niye dunazio kajimba ni chinane na gumu. Southern Union mwanzali, district ya Kabali, mbaka tweta. Batwesiri bazira muno mwene myaka yange twaje bagambi. kandi bali wano omunanka zaitu omunanka zaitu y'obuzarwa bashanga twikire basibiko tukagira ki bakatugandika tukakwata esente kinyambire n'abaana banje babiri nibazegera abaana banje umwe ari mu siniya ya mukaaga ondiijo ari mu siniya ya kabiri ari rushoroza aha ondiijo nawe akamara university tubona kunagamba ati n'embuzi hamwe n'agamatafaari ngashuka nkagura n'enankeegi n'amabaare hariya kandi n'esente zikanyamba omu baana nina nguma nyombekire akaju olw'okuba tinyine kasete haako nabwe ninsiima nyanga kusiima kubampiire obuyambi kushatu bakatwire kasente keitako obugurusi kandi bakyariyo bakaha abanankeegi mu Rwanda baha nabo kumpa abanankeegi kuri itwe bakatwire.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment, SAGE program, is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
I am called Odong Martin. I am 70 years old. I come from Naitakwai Parish, Nadunget Sub-County. This village is called Katanga. I knew about this siege money I don't remember very well the year, I think around 2013, 14 is when I heard about this siege program. We were gathered at Katanga village as the elders. They said they need elders from 60 years. So we were gathered, and then I was part of the team who was identifying, because by then there were no IDs by then. So we were gathered together with the old women, said verification of years. When were you born? Then some of us were just, putting these events. I was born during the time of this, during the time of this, during the time of this, because for us, Karamajong, we identify the years through events. So that's how we need. Then we said, okay, so and so is fit to be in this siege program, 60, because they said 60 above. So that's how I got it. The benefits actually, when it first came, because we were receiving, they told us we were receiving the first bunch of money, we received 25. These 25, we really were grateful, because for us to get the money, this 25 by then was very, it was good money. So I could buy, a kilo of sugar. I could get at least even call my friends to share. I think today we have got something, call some kwete. So, and then we can also get some meat by that time. So that's how I got this money. Then I was also selling a bit of petrol, no? I would get had it to get 1 jerrycan of petrol to sell in my shop. So that's how I could get this 25. Then eventually it went. Then we are supposed to get now by 2 months. That is 50 months to 50,000. And then I said, I think it was a good move. So, and it was frequent, you know, after every 2 months, we'd get 50, every 2 months, then I would plan. Even with this money now, I would buy some books for my grandchildren, you see. That's how I began benefiting this money. And when it is time for cultivation also, I would take two people to the garden, because I'm unable to go to the garden to help my wife. My wife was not the beneficiary. So whenever I could get this money, I would also send people there to the garden to go and dig if it is time for digging, or weeding if it was time for weeding. I would also, if it is time for beginning to cultivate, I would buy seeds, yes, to go and plant. So that's how I benefited. First of all, the first challenge, you know, in Karamoja here, the timing when this money is coming, it went on for 1 year when it was coming regularly, after 2 months, But when it went almost towards some end, then it delayed. We greatly thank the government, because for sure, as a person, I say this money, I have not gone to somebody's garden to work for it. This is really a kind of manner for us, the elders, to give ourselves, however small it is. We thank the government for that initiative.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Pio, ibaricha me mono, cái đồ này đủ bị cả, ok, po cái này, quan ngô quý boru, cái này quan ngô tao bị nuôi liền diam, thế là quý là diam, nhà họ đó sẽ chạy sụp cùn, quan cái nó sẽ bọc cái gì, bay cái này quan bị nuôi là cái diam, cái này bé nọc đồ, nọc bé nó tiền kia qua tiền là gì, anh po tek. Po will do cario, I will diegi. Ato vaya ti cool. Ara pollo.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
kinana na gumu Southern Union mwanzali district ya Kabali bakatweta batwesire bagira ngo mwene myaka yange twaje bagambira kandi bali banu umunakazitu umunakazitu y'ubuzarwa bashanga twikire basi ko twagira ki bakatugandika twakwate site senyambire n'abana banje nibazegera abana banje nabo umwe aje umusikara cyambo musina ya mukaga undi aje musina ya kabiri ari ushoro zaha undi hano kwa university tubona kuna Uganda tinembuzi hamwe n'amatafari ngashobora kugurana na keje n'amabari hariya kandi n'isezi kanya abo bana none umuntu cyakaje yabo kubatine kasete hako nabone insina nabone kusima kubampiru yandi setu bakatwire kasete kita ko bugunsi kandi bacyari bakahabana keje mu Rwanda bahana bo kupaba na keje kuri tutu bakatwire.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment, SAGE program, is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Amabara gange Nyosepiriano Kyalgonza umusomesa w'ekereziya ndi Kyegegwa Town Council Kyegegwa District kanta katunge sente za bakayikuru hego nkabande hano baitundi musomesa nakuri natunga yoga kasente katoito itwe tusaina abakora hanyuma nanyowe nagenda nayihandikisa hanyuma akasente batandika kukatwereza batandike kutwa sentezi nanyo kinacwire mu nkabanza kwiteka hamsirwa Rosemary natandika.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. You're welcome to UBC TV, and the show is Good Morning Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantawa. It's time for the agenda, looking at the elections of persons with disabilities, and that is today, the 3rd of February, is the polling day for elections of representatives of persons with disabilities, and it's a matter that we are looking into. Chewing on it alongside you, 0709-602592.
I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono to chew on this particular conversation. Robert, I welcome you again to this particular conversation, and I'll start off with you just describing who these representatives are and how they are voted.
Well, thank you, Julie. Now, when you talk about persons with disabilities, this means these will have some form of impairment. For example, we have those that cannot see, because they are categorized in a number of groups, although some are also coming in, but we don't want, but of course, with civil society pressure, we will look at persons who have issues in movement, that they can't walk. We look at persons who are deaf, that they can't hear.
Right.
So those are basic categories. Now, there are also others that are coming in. The albinos are pushing for that. We have people they call persons of short stature.
The dwarfs?
That is illegal.
Oh, okay.
They are called persons of
short stature.
Is it short stature? Or some want to call them the little persons.
All right.
They have issues with height, not the normal shortness. I think they say if you're, is it 4 feet and 10 inch, you qualify. And of late, I don't know if it is because of social media, but they seem to be many. Those days when we were growing up, those extremely short people were not very visible, not very common. But of late, these people are becoming so many. Maybe because of social media, because of exposure, wherever you see the, so they're also part of that category, yes.
Robert, you are rather amusing me with that idea as to there are very many, they've always existed.
Not as common.
You just never
village,
knew
you would be
that
one,
they...
but today everywhere, entertainment, you're moving, there are many these days.
Anyways, thank you for that preamble, especially in the defining who a person with a disability is. Now, today their elections are going on, representatives of persons with disabilities, and they're taking place at Nsambya Gardens, Kevina. Elections started already, will be ending at 4 p.m. Now, one would wonder who exactly are they voting to represent them? Who are the people they are voting to represent them?
Now, our laws that govern us through the Constitution, due to affirmative action, came up with categories they call special interest groups. Now, if you look at the voting pattern, yesterday we had a special interest group of elder persons or older persons. These are people of 60 and above. That they feel these people should be given more attention away from the usual we give. Though for me, elder persons, I wouldn't see them because at the end of the day, Parliament is also dominated with a good number of old people.
Right.
So I'd feel they would bring in their issues properly, they understand them so much. But I was enlightened that though a good number of people in Parliament are 60 and above, they may not be specifically pushing for this constituency of older persons. So that's one category. Two, we have persons with disability under special interest groups. Now, these ones, people with disability, definitely it goes without saying, they need more emphasis because they are vulnerable. Just like the old are when you've left work, you're retired, your body is giving way, you know, and we don't have spare parts for humans that we can give you spare, and you know, even if there are changes, you're going, you're diminishing. So you're vulnerable to sicknesses, you're vulnerable to money. Now it becomes worse with people with disabilities. Because some, just imagine, Julie, you can't see. You're blind. What a challenging life that is. You need someone to help you even when you're going to washrooms or you're moving anywhere. You're already disabled. You can't hear. Recently, I saw someone aging and he can't hear. That's my father. So you find that is a problem. You're talking, but now just imagine this one who can't even get a fill. Look at this person who has any other form of disability. So they are voting for people who are going to represent them in parliament.
Right.
And they go through electoral colleges. And remember, their voting is very interesting, that it begins from grassroots. The people in these electoral colleges who come to elect these people, it begins from grassroots.
Right. Now, just so you know, the election shall be conducted by secret ballot according to the Electoral Commission using the National Electoral College, comprising of 5 delegates. And these delegates are drawn from each city or district PWD electorate structure. Now, the 5 are the chairperson, vice chairperson, general secretary, and publicity secretary, as well as the treasurer. And members of the Electoral College are required to report to the venue on time and are required to actually report on the 2nd of February starting 11 a.m. So that means they reported yesterday for the process, but then voting begins or began already today, the 3rd of February at 7 a.m. and will be ending at 4 p.m. Now, Robert, I don't know, for the time you've covered elections and for the time you've been a journalist, have you had a chance to cover elections of special interest groups, but in particular PWDs?
I have covered almost all of them, special interest groups. But the most interesting ones among them, you know, these are electoral colleges. And this is one of the hardest vote to win. Because you know the delegates, you know the people who are going to vote for you. And most of the times, it had been very hard to defeat the incumbents.
Right.
Because I can know these are the number of people that are going to vote for me. This is so, this is so, this is so. The last I covered, did all the incumbents make it back? This is a constituency where one can lead them for a very good time. If you remember, there's this member of parliament who died, was it Margaret Babadiri? I think she was Margaret Babadiri. She had represented persons with disabilities.
For a long time.
Honorable Sophia, because yesterday we had Ramagana, Mosei Ramagana, Nasuru Habib, former representative of the youth, councillor, youth, I think, at KCCA. And he said commercialization of politics.
Right, right.
Now, for this other adult suffrage, I may not be sure of who is going to vote. But for this one, we come at the voting center, when even if it is 3 weeks back, or even a month back, or 2 months back, I know. So it is very easy, the power of money to play. Actually, the last I covered, the talk was money. It had lost focus. You would see which camp Jangu and Wabaita.
Because now, if you put it into perspective, and with older persons, as Zaira Magana stated it, you might say, oh, well, maybe they are old but still able. But for persons with disabilities, not to say that they are not able, but their issues are very keen. You cannot just give a dead ear to issues of a person with disabilities. So when you, and that means you have to pay attention to the detail of even their election, who is representing policies on the floor of parliament for them. So if you involve money and the greed that comes with politics and play, what becomes of that special interest group? And given that many of them are usually taken to be in a maybe mid-economy or lower economy, how are they garnering money for one? How is one person cashing out money to these people just to vote for them? So I don't know if it's really, really true. I don't know from your experience, but just
from
looking
my
at
experience,
it from
I can't deny that because at least I witnessed it. where you would hear, even you the journalists, you'd hear them run here, run here. This one is calling. You know, money in our politics is something we should now accept. It is there, and we can't deny. But are we able to overcome it by taking it? Because even if you say don't take it, someone is going to take it. But still remain wise and make informed decisions and have the best leadership. These elections of electoral colleges are very problematic when it comes to money. And money usually exchanges hands so very much. And that's why I said for a long time, sometimes the incumbent, once a person has gotten there and is strategic enough, it becomes hard to unseat that person in these elections. So among the special groups, that persons with disabilities are not any different. This year, I'll go after here. I'm going to the gardens still to see if things are going to be very different this time around. Are we going to see smooth sail, know this, how do I call it? There were groups, cocoons, you know, this camp, that camp. You go to this classroom, go to this classroom, you know, there could be something here for you. You find delegates meandering like, where, you know, some already have. So it becomes a bit problematic.
During the general elections, the first elections that opened the election, the voting cycle, some of the election observers had a say that persons with disabilities had not been catered for largely in the election. For example, as the tallying was going on, as Justice Byabakama came on to announce the different results, provisional results, there was no provision of probably sign language to inform those who are deaf, who cannot, or there was no provision of maybe to cater for the blind, to understand what, well, they could hear, but what if they needed to see certain things, events to put the story together. And now that if the general election did not cater fully to persons with disabilities, how much more do you think their own election will cater to their problems at the place of making policies, in your perspective?
I must say, this is a group of people that is well organized, by the way. I closely worked with NUDIPU, that is National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda. By then they had Francis Kinubi. That association was very active under Francis Kinubi and Esther Chonzira. I think she was called Esther Chonzira. They were very, very active. I don't know what happened to NUDIPU of late, the National Union of Persons with Disabilities. I don't know if it is funding or the people in the association are a bit complacent and not active in, because that association was, that union was once very, very active.
Right.
Now, it pushed for a lot of reforms. And that is, and one thing, because who have disabilities, they are so concerned of what concerns them. If you look at their elections, you're not going to find that there is a delegate that is supposed to come despite disabilities. It is very rare that they have not turned up. For youth, you can find. For older persons, you can find. But for persons with disability, there is a way they have their chain of flow of information that you can hardly understand how solid and unique it is.
I think that's empowering.
They have been empowered, and they have empowered themselves because already they know they are vulnerable. So every opportunity they have, they use it to the maximum. If it is communication, you'll find that person you think is not aware telling you, no, in PDM we have our special ring fenced. In youth livelihood, in this, they have information. And I want to commend organizations like the previous NUDIPU, not the current NUDIPU, because the current one, I've not seen them very active as far as advocacy, publicity is concerned. The other ones would have weekly press conferences or monthly press conferences, have all the radios, all the TV stations, you know. They would go for talk shows, they would go for radio shows. They did a great work. And wherever Francis Kinubi is and Esther Chonzira, thank you for the good work you did at that time. So they built systems of information. And I think they did really so much for the persons of disabilities or with disabilities to be able and those systems are still standing. You go in a village, and their executive is fully fledged. Even if someone passes or dies, they'll have a replacement. Their things are calm, their things are organized. So that is the uniqueness, that even where the Electoral Commission, yes, it is so sad that we didn't have this sign language for them, those that couldn't hear, or what was needed. But when you go to Nsambya Gardens, is it Nsambya Gardens? You'll find that those that can't walk, they have put someone for them. Those that can't hear, at least, you know, those that they cater. I think it is their constituency, and they understand their challenges. That if I can't see, but I can hear, now let me figure out of a friend with shared disability who can see but can't hear. How do you facilitate for that person?
Right.
So I must commend them. They're fairly organized.
And if you say that, actually, one of the, I think I consider them the brightest humans on earth, and sharpest and very well aware. From experience, I do have a sister who is in that category, but she knows how to lip read. You know, as you're speaking, I can speak right now, but she will know what I'm saying because she can make out letters. She can tell what you're saying. So I consider them the most brilliant human and most able-bodied humans, more than most people who function fully.
Just imagine someone who can't see but can touch notes and
know that this is a 10K, this is a 20K.
Yet you've touched them over and over, but if you closed your eyes, you can't tell.
Very well abled. So one thing for sure, I think as we begin to close this conversation, I'm definitely looking forward to their elections today and what comes out of it. But I think for me, my heart is on representation. If it shouldn't be about the money, but someone who represents them, or people who represent them fully to the dot, that their abilities are just enhanced more and more and more, to the point that we even see them in the general elections and not just excluded as PWDs, but we see them
directly,
direct MPs.
District woman MP.
Yes.
But also I think we need to, there are a few changes that their new leaders must focus on. One, every disability, there is a way you can overcome that disability. Say if it is movement. Do buildings have these spaces for persons with disabilities? Do we have lifts? If it is reading, do we have the gadgets they need to read? If it is these sticks, are you aware a wheelchair is very expensive in Uganda?
It is.
Very expensive.
It is.
These are non-taxable things. Are there ways that they can get these wheelchairs free of charge for movement purposes, and modern ones? Leave alone these ones, someone is, you know, using their chest then as if they have gone to the gym. Can we have at least electronic ones? Can we have some that make life better or fueled? You know, can we have, so I want, if government can remove taxation from all aiding gadgets to these people, and follow that up, that if it is not taxed, when I go to buy it, it is very cheap, because sometimes certain things have tax exemptions, but the business community sells them as if there is no tax exemption.
That's true. And seeing as members of parliament do not pay as you earn, perhaps some of their monies could be collected into circles such as this, for things such as this. I, for one, I'm looking forward to a person with a disability, very active and vocal, as well as verbal.
There was one in parliament,
on the floor of
Honorable
parliament.
something Daisy, I've forgotten his name. He was very vocal on Daisy. He was a member of parliament representing persons with disability. But I think he was one of the best performing members of parliament.
I look forward to more
always,
of those.
you'd see him on the floor of parliament communicating
In the next
with these
election
challenges.
cycle, I look forward to direct members of parliament, with many of them, as many of the candidates as PWDs, campaigning and going through the nomination processes. And in fact, I look forward to many of them representing their areas, their constituencies, or even at the helm, contesting at the helm of presidency.
Resources.
If it's thought about, it's possible. So pushing for it. Now that brings us to the conversation of this, this conversation, but Ruben has to come through with the sports. Robert, myself, and Joan will be back tomorrow. It's a Tuesday, cold one at that, but enjoy it because it's a blessing to work. It's a blessing to live and breathe. It's a blessing that you're alive. For God and my country. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules